No one addresses that. No one actually engages with that at all. It's just, oh, Chud's a groomer. Oh, Chud's a chaser. Oh, you know, Chud's a right winger. And then just sitting there like, oh, I thought this guy was wholesome quirk chungus. And it turns out he's a raging transphobe. No! I have managed to annoy the online transes again. Okay, I've managed to irritate the online trans community once again. IWW says more Gox for me. Bro, you fucking lost the plot, dude. Dude, that's crazy. And would you believe it? It's about Finster. The bar was already low for you, Chud, but damn. And then they've shared this video. How it started, how it's going. What 300,000 does to an MF. How Finster was groomed into being trans. That's a pretty crazy title. Although, to be fair, I did say that in the video. It's quite a provocative title. I did say that, but I think I was, you know, I was like, okay, I think I'd probably call this some sort of grooming, yeah. So yeah, once again, we are, you know, we're laughing. Dude, the lore that people make up about me is fucking crazy. I just don't understand where people get these ideas from. This guy got peer pressured into being right wing by 19-year-old commentary channels. Well, first of all, when did that happen?
Okay, that's wonderful. But how do I make money off depressed people?
This was like a spoiled fraternity white boy paying stupid money to go and shoot some helpless old elephant at some clamping hunting ranch. Also, please fix your super chat TTS, it's hurting my parasocial delusions.
Yeah, I'm going to have a look at it. I don't know what is going on with it. It's broken. I'm not gaming tonight on stream, so I'll try and fix it later after stream. Thank you very much for the 420. So first of all, when did I become a right winger? When did that happen exactly? When exactly did that happen? Okay, number one. Number two, what 19-year-old commentary channels bullied me into anything or pressured me into anything? The only 19-year-old commentary channel that I can think of is Aiden Projects, who I've only recently started talking to, and is a lefty. He's like a cringe leftoid. So, like, who are you even talking about? Most commentary channels that I know that are this sort of age are like liberal or lefties. Where are the right-wing 19-year-old commentary channels these people are talking about? They literally just make it up. Yes, Zoe, exactly. They just make it up. They make it up out of thin air, right? And the other thing as well, if you look at some of the kind of like engagements with this post, right? No one actually addresses the point. No one actually addresses what is said in the video, right? No one addresses how utterly fucking deranged it is and how crazy it is that this guy 10 Muses spent hundreds of thousands of dollars donating to Finster in order to, you know, fulfill goals to get them to continue dressing as a woman, and sent donations that offered tips and advice on how to modify their body to be more sexually pleasing to them, to 10 Muses. No one fucking addresses that shit. No one addresses that. No one actually fucking engages with that at all. It's just, oh, Chud's a groomer. Oh, Chud's a chaser. Oh, you know, Chud's a right winger. Okay? Now, obviously those are very defamatory, slanderous claims. Okay? All of them. Every single one is complete slander. It's complete slander, okay? But here's the thing. So people are saying one is true. I don't know what you're talking about. That's fucking... You were hearing from my legal team, okay? But even if all of those things were true, okay? Even if all those things were true, how does it affect what I'm saying about this? What part of any of that, if it were true, would impact my commentary and my view that this 10 Muses person donating hundreds of thousands of dollars to someone to promote them essentially engaging in a sissy fetish, okay, to please themselves and please their muses and please visitor, and that's deranged, and it creates a perverse incentive that I think could fairly be characterized as grooming. What is wrong about that then? Do you know what I mean? It's like they point out these things and they act like it's a fucking slam dunk against the point. But it's not. And not a single person that's critical actually engages with the points that are made. It is just, oh, you know. Do you know what, dude? What is so infuriating about this, okay, is that it's not even that they don't, like, engage with the points that are made. Right? It's stuff like this. The bar was already low for you, Chud, but damn. And then this person says, Tens basically single-handedly funded Finn's transition. And then, based if true. Based if true. Now, obviously, this person underneath, I disavow that comment, okay? That's terrible. I completely disavow those sorts of comments, to be clear, okay? I believe in sympathy and empathy for these individuals, okay? Let's not get it twisted. I disavow. But these people will just say it's based anyway. It's like, you know, it's like they're trapped in like an ideological prison that they don't want to escape, essentially. And some of them, I think, it's because their identity is a certain way, so they feel like they're trapped there that way. But also, the other thing that is really shocking about this, okay? The other thing that is totally disgusting about this, if you look at some of the replies, some of the people that are responding to this and engaging with this post are like 16. You know? And it's like, oh, fucking hell, dude. And obviously they got the trans flag in the bio and stuff like that. And you just think, God, these people are like so wrapped up in this. You know, and these are the kinds of people that they're looking up to, that are like fighting for their rights or whatever. And this person is clearly like some sort of, and it's not because they're trans, to be clear. I'm not saying this because they're trans, but this person is clearly some sort of fetishist, right? They call themselves a drone pup. What does that mean? It sounds weird and fetishy. I don't, right. What's going on there? It's she. So, yeah, I don't know, dude. It's like, obviously it's funny that people get mad at me over stuff like this. Don't get me wrong, okay? It's just so crazy to me that these people are so locked in. And it's like, it's a bit like, now I'm going to piss off the righties, okay? It's a bit like people that are like totally indoctrinated in like in the Trumpist mindset, right? Their perception of reality is so twisted that you can't reach them with just speaking about what's actually going on. Do you know what I mean? Like, I understand that this is provocative, okay? I understand this is a provocative title, provocative thumbnail, and stuff like that. I get that, right? But the amount of people that are sat there going, oh, but what could the problem be? Oh, Finster's just living their true life. What's the issue with this? Maybe try watching the video and finding out if you're really that fucking concerned about what is going on here, you know? Thank you, Codex. Yes. And that's coming from a rightoid. We can break bread on that for sure. The Trump-obsessed rightoids are weird as well. It's just this kind of like, you know, you are so locked into this one perspective, right? Without question, without fail. You are on that fucking path. You cannot be taken away from it. There's nothing that can happen that can change your mind. There's no piece of information that could be presented to you that would change your mind on this, you know? And the other thing that I find kind of a bit annoying about this as well is that it creates this idea or this narrative that you can't, you know, you can't reasonably change your perspective on this. You can't look at the information and you can't assess the facts of the matter, and you can just think, okay, well, I'm going to change my mind and think this about it because, you know, which is basically what happened with me, you know? When I first kind of got into this, the narrative that was presented to me with this stuff, right, was It's for adults. Adults are doing this. Kids aren't involved. Okay, kids aren't being pushed this stuff. Yeah, maybe puberty blockers in some cases, but it's reversible. But there's definitely no surgery to people that are happening under 18, right? And then there's a very manipulative narrative that's presented to you that this is to prevent, suicides, essentially, right? It's if we don't do this, people are going to top themselves. It's not reversible. I know. I'm just laying it out what the situation is, okay? And that was how it was presented to me. And, me being a bleeding heart lefty, and this is the other point too. They rely on your bleeding heart leftiness. They rely on you being a soft touch, caring and having empathy for people. I know that sounds like a bit of a meme. But they do it, and it's very manipulative. And it's like they create this paradigm where you have to accept. You must accept. You must not question. And if you question, you're going to be causing harm to people. And you don't want to cause harm, do you? So don't question this. We know what we're doing. We're trans. We know best. We know what's right. They prey on your cowardice too. Yes, that's so true, bro. That's so true. They prey on the idea that you're not going to make any criticisms at all. And if you do, you will get fucking giga cancelled out of these communities. If there's any criticism that you levy. I remember one time, okay, there was a guy who had like a bit of a weird take about transhumanism, right? Dude, this is such shit a drama. He had this weird take about transhumanism. It wasn't that big a deal, but it upset the trans people, right? And it undermined. I think you're too wrapped up in how manipulative and crazy the extreme trans advocates are online. This filters through, though. A lot of the stuff that you see in America, a lot of the craziness around the gender conversation is filtered via these online trans activists. This idea that they're like, a distinct entity that is separate from the real world is cope, okay? It's total cope. I've said it myself. I fucking spouted that. It's cope. These people exist online and they have influence that filters out into the real world, and some of them exist in the real world too, okay? So I think you're coping with this you're so obsessed with how crazy these trans people are online. And then you look at real world policy that's being impacted by what these people are talking about and what these people are saying. Or, there's links you can make of, well, they're proposing this policy. It's the classic thing, right? Oh, it's crazy. It's only online. Who cares about it? And then a couple of years later, you see it in the real world and you're like, wait a second, hang on a sec. I thought this was only online. No, it's not. It filters out into the real world, okay? Self-ID. Women's trans women in sports, right? It filters out into the real world. It's not just fucking online. Yeah, how many times have you seen it where you're like, oh, this is just crazy, wacky online people. Who cares about this? And then before you know it, it's fucking out there. But look how medical agents... Okay, but Dickers, that stuff is happening in spite of the online stuff. You understand that, right? It's in spite of that. It's in opposition to that. Anyway, let's not get one guy too early, okay? Let's not get one guy too early. Anyway, this guy had this fucking weird take, and he got excised. I remember watching it happen. It was early 2020, I think. I was a 30-year Andy. And this dude, who had a weird take about transhumanism, not even that big a deal, was literally excised from multiple communities because he undermined the trans perspective or something. It was what the fuck, dude? And ashamed to say, but at the time, being a small channel, I was like, oh, well, I don't want to get into that then, do I? I best leave that alone. Who? Some random guy, some tiny Twitch streamer. So yeah, they capitalise on your cowardice, they capitalise on your good-natured desire to not hurt people, And yeah, it's you can't question it. You cannot question anything that they do. And if you do, you can expect some sort of destructive element coming your way, right? It's crazy. And, these people just don't want to engage with it. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to fucking engage with any of this. They just want to live in their little world where Finster's just a cutesy, gender fluid person who just one day decided that they wanted to dress as a woman, and that's it. End of conversation. When, as we saw, there's more to it than that. And then when they do get challenged with, oh, hang on a sec, well, this guy actually did pay for their transition. It's, oh, that's based. No further questions. In Germany, it's so crazy that there's now a self-ID law. Males running around with birth certificates to say female because you don't have sex gender difference in the German language. Thank you for the 10 euros. I would have worded that differently, but thank you very much nonetheless. Well, this is the other game that's played. I think you'll see it in some of these tweets here. Right? I mean, there's one base take straight away from Tizzy. Not the Tizzy from TikTok, another guy. If you can't see that Finster went from being a Minecraft YouTuber to a sissy fetish femboy OnlyFans Twitch streamer, you have your eyes closed. Like, yes, exactly. You get it. That's what I'm saying. Hey, Tizzy, how's it going? Yes, Tizzy, it's you. It's like so obvious. It's so clear. And when you go and look at the footage, and this is stuff Finster themselves has uploaded. Isn't that such a crazy condemnation of these communities, right? Is it can just be completely out in the open. Someone paying hundreds of thousands of dollars to promote someone engaging in a sissy fetish to sexually please them, and then suggesting body modifications to make them more sexually attractive as a woman. And that's just in the open. And they can put that up there with a jaunty soundtrack, Zoomer editing, and everyone's just laughing about it. And people are fucking applauding it. No, it's fucked up, dude. It's fucked. It creates a crazy perverse incentive. And then you've obviously got Finster, giving this money to this gender GP service, which had legal trouble in the UK. Obviously covered that on the end of the video. It's shocking. It's shocking. And I think this is a product of the paradigm that's been created by these kind of trans activists that you can't question. You can't go against. Puberty blockers are irreversible and safe. Case closed. Right? Surgery isn't happening to people that are under 18. But if they are, it's a good thing, actually. It's a good thing. And that should happen because it's an edge case. And this is what I found. Is over time, it was like boiling frog for me, right? I started off and I was a, bleeding out lefty, small channel, all these people getting fucking, fucked with because they say the wrong stuff about trans issues. And you're like, oh shit, I need to be careful what I say around these guys, right? Okay? And, it's just slowly over time, little things start happening, right? Don't forget they made actual porn with their girlfriend. They gave money to mermaids and reviewed chastity cages on stream. Yeah, it's crazy the shit they were getting up to. So I remember, in my head, it was, if you're under 18, you cannot get surgery. You cannot get, transitional surgery, trans surgery, right? And I'd argued this, and I'd made this point to people and talked about this when I defended the trans community in the past, right? But then I found out that some people under 18 were getting surgery. And I'm asking, well, what's this about? I thought under 18s didn't get this. And it's, oh no, that's an outlier. That's an edge case. That's because the doctor said it was okay, and it was all agreed that was the right thing to do. And you're like, okay, well, that's a bit weird, but okay, whatever. I mean, obviously, it's a small situation. You kind of rationalize it and stuff like that. And then you find out that, hormones are being given to people that are under 18, and you're like, okay, what's this all about? Oh, don't worry, that's an edge case. Don't worry about it. It's an outlier, etc. Right? And then, the DIY HRT thing pops up. And you're like, are you sure we should be, having these unlicensed pharmacies dishing out medication to people? And it's like, oh, but, adults. You see, it's adults. Adults can't get hold of stuff and they need medication, so they go to these as a last resort. Okay? And then you're like, Okay, but some of these medications are like homemade. What is that about? What you can't use homemade medication for this stuff. This is insane. Oh no, it's actually quite easy to make. You don't need to worry about it, okay? It's a last resort if there's nothing else. Taking homemade medication is fine. It's very simple to make. And you start to really get freaked out by it and be like, okay, that sounds fucking crazy. That sounds insane. And then you find out this stuff is getting promoted to kids. And it's like, whoa, what the fuck, dude? We've gone from, adults are seeking out this treatment as a way of, dealing with their gender dysphoria, okay, to actually, it's totally fine for children to seek out homemade DIY medication to treat what they believe to be gender dysphoria, even if it's not diagnosed. Just like, what? We've gone so fucking far in the course of a few years. But each step of the way, I mean, that stuff when it was about the kids and shit. And there's a video of me covering the Kevil's Manifesto, Destiny's Kevil's Manifesto back in the day. And I talked about it. And even then, I still think I said things that now I would probably say differently. And I've changed my mind on further. But, even then I was saying like, well, no, if an adult needs this. I mean, I guess I still feel like that. If an adult wants to go and get some medication, that's their fucking lookout, okay, whatever. But, the children thing has got to be a complete line in the sand. Children should not be engaged with and participating in this, right? And I remember that point, and this is why it's so stupid when people try and claim that it's like, 19-year-old commentary channels that changed my mind. No, it was you and your freak community. Not because you're trans, okay, because of the way you act, to be clear. That is what fucking radicalized me on this stuff. And I'm not even that fucking radical. I'm not even that fucking radical, right? My position is, adults, that's, if you seek medical advice, you've got gender dysphoria, you should be cautious about surgery because that's, very difficult. But I don't really care that much about that. If you want to do that, fine. It's the children not getting it, that's a big issue. And all this stuff about, puberty blockers being safe is obviously being debunked and shit like that, right? Do you see what I mean? So I'm not even that fucking radical on it. Right? It's like they're the radicals, They're the ones that want to push to this radical, insane, dangerous direction, which, allows children to purchase homemade medication to take for something they believe they've got with no proof of diagnosis. Right? That is their fucking view on it, and you're a bad person for not going on board with that. Even though there's other aspects that you're, comfortable to say, well, that's fine, when it's adults and whatnot. That's too much. You can't disagree with that. You've got to be on board with that, So it's crazy that they're the fucking radical ones. And it's like, I'm the bad guy for, pumping the brakes, essentially, and going, okay, well, this is going way too fucking far. This is way too much. This wasn't what I thought it was originally when I first stepped into this. And yeah, you're kind of like criticised for that, Oh, I see. Right. Now it's not... Okay. It's funny because, I always think... Guys, I always think, am I being unreasonable? Am I being unfair? Maybe this person doesn't think like that. And then it's like, literally... Okay. And it is just that simple. It's literally that simple. I don't even need to say anything. It's like, boom. And this is the real issue, by the way, is these people will criticize you and act like you're the bad person, you're a transphobe, you're a dirty chud right-winger, because they don't want to be interfered with. They don't want their gravy train of, promoting this stuff and talking about this stuff and pushing this stuff to be upset by people criticizing it. It's just deranged. Totally fucking deranged shit. It's disgusting. It's despicable. And as I say here correctly in my own tweet, giving myself a medal, no one actually engages with it. Chud does the same calling me a right winger when he gets triggered though low key. That is correct, Don BJ. That is correct, but at least I don't call you the P word like I do others. All right, so it could be worse. I actually quite like you. I actually quite like your chats normally. But I do get triggered. I do that sometimes. That's true. You do one guy me. All right, that is fair. That is a fair comment. All right. Even American libs don't buy the trans stuff anymore. Check the NYT top reader comments and all the recent articles about it. Only the progressives are still desperately clinging on. Yeah. Yeah, stuff like the cast review coming. Like, dude, these people have pushed for so long. Trust the science. It's settled science. Listen to the science. Based on a couple of shabbily put together reports that aren't actually that good. No, that's settled science, actually. And then these systemic reviews come out that say, okay, hang on a second. The science isn't actually that good here. We've got other information that says differently. All of a sudden, the science is wrong. The science is bigoted. The science is transphobic. Do you remember when, like, certain countries in Europe and the UK, for example, they walked back from some of this affirmative care model for trans youth? And they called that, like, right-wing. They said, oh, that's, like, right-wing stuff. That's because that's right-wingers have done that. Yes, of course. Yes. The socialized medical network in a fucking country that was set up by lefties. That's just right-wing, guys. That's all right-wing. Yeah, it's all right-wing stuff going on over there. It's right-wing science. This issue, the most base thing ever. Notice how Finn matured and lost weight, unlike most right-wingers. Finn literally isn't even a trans woman. He's gender fluid. Nothing about this is correct. Wait. Trans just means that you don't identify with the gender or sex you were born with. Right? Right? So they're trans. Right? I mean, what do you mean? They are trans. Finn isn't even a trans woman. He's gender fluid, actually. On HRT, by the way. Finster did a video talking about how they'd started taking HRT and they weren't really sure what they were anymore. That was basically what they said in their video. So, this idea that, actually, you've been debunked. They're not a trans woman. They're gender fluid. Anyway, I don't want to get too hard on some of these people. Some of these people, I'm not going to look and see. Some of these people are genuinely like young teenagers. It's crazy. It's crazy these people are online engaging in these spaces when they're like young teenagers and stuff. It's mental. How it started versus how it's going. And it's the evolution from the average guy 53 to one of the most gorgeous women you'll ever see. Right, okay. So just because someone, has lost some weight and in your perception looks nice, we don't have to worry about anything then. Right. Just because in your perception they look nice now, we don't have to worry about anything that might have happened there. Okay, I need to be careful what I say here. I need to be cautious, okay? Remember when Chud made like 10 videos on some person faking did, but it's just hours worth of footage of him just saying doctors are stupid and they're wrong, and did isn't an actual thing? Problem? Yes, correct. Problem? I never fucking said that anyway. I never fucking said that, dude. I didn't even say that. My take on did is that I do think there's some disorder. I mean, it is controversial and it's still developing probably, but there is a disorder of like this mental illness where you have these blackouts and, they conceive of it as these various identities, a different identity, you black out, you don't remember something, you got memory loss, etc. There's something to did, right? But the conception online and the way that it's presented is fucking nonsense. No, there isn't. It's a huge scam. No, you guys, okay. I understand you don't like the idea of it being called did or something, okay? But there are people out there who have got serious, severe trauma that have these kind of blackouts, memory loss, etc. Like there's treatment centers for these people. It might not be this identity thing. You might not conceive of it as that yourself, but there is this medical condition where people have these issues. Right? You can't deny that there's people out there who express having these issues, who do have these issues, where they have these blackouts, etc. Right? It's the romanticized way. Your takes do seem a little skeptical about mental health topics. Would you agree with that characterization? Well, give me an example of when you think I've expressed undue skepticism about a mental health topic. When have I think mental health is a thing. I think it's real. I just can understand why people have got a problem with the way this gets presented, particularly when the online discourse about it is so fucked. But I think there is a fundamental issue at the heart of the did stuff. Yes. I remember Chud takes when was did is real, but the person he criticised is faking it because he does not match what the people... Yeah, the people that express online don't match with the people who are actually receiving treatment from psychiatrists at, you know, various places for this disorder, right? And the skepticism is more so just a characterisation of it or the way it gets talked about or something like that, you know? But I do think there's some things that are happening that are bad that people need to deal with that gets characterised as did. That's my kind of take on it, you know? It's more of a vibe I wanted to ask you about. Chud, you seem very sceptical of this rash of overweight women on TikTok making serious ailments into a little cutesy quirk chungus memento. Thank you, Stylo, yes! Stylo giving me the words I needed to fucking move on from this stupid point, okay? That is so true. Correct, Stylo. Is Chudlogic supposed to be an ironic name? Groomed. It literally went from dressing as a girl as a joke to feeling comfortable in it. Have these people just not looked into this? Do they not know? Do they not know what happened? Have they not seen the video, the disgusting video of this 10 Muses freak chucking thousands and thousands of dollars at Finster to placate their sexual desires and get them to dress as a woman more and suggest them having surgery to better look like a woman? Have they just fucking missed all of that? Or do they know and they don't care and they're just lying about it? What's wrong with people being comfortable? Are they hurting anyone? Absolutely not. Is it wrong? No. Let them be comfortable with who they are, what they wear. Right, okay, dude. Haven't watched the video. Maybe they have and they're in cope denial mode. Maybe they're lying. Who knows? Bro, these people just do not understand what the point is, do they? This is what I say when these people... Oh my god, yes. The fucking kids' chair. Tizzy, yes, exactly. The fucking kids' chair. And they get put in the corner in the naughty kids' chair. And we're supposed to just be like, oh yeah, that's just a joke and it's funny, guys. Yeah, bro, I just fucking... It's disgraceful, dude. Okay, this is the other thing I wanted to show as well. Okay? Chudlogic pisses me off so bad. During the jar stuff, I wanted to know what was going on, but his vids were so ass. There's all these people from the ACC who are like, you know, soy lefties, essentially, right? And I just imagine them watching my videos about the jar situation, and then they get fucking blasted. They get flashbanged by, Finster was groomed into being trans. Dude. And then just sitting there like, oh, I thought this guy was wholesome quirk chungus, and it turns out he's a raging transphobe. No! I'm not even a raging transphobe, okay? I've got the brave take that children should not be taking homemade medication for a condition they've not even necessarily been diagnosed with. Is that a crazy take? Is that fucking extreme? Is that a crazy take, guys? Heads up, Finn did a video where he came out as gender fluid. He's on HRT, but yeah, I don't understand how he was groomed into this.
Okay, that's wonderful. But how do I make money off depressed people?
Well, if you don't understand, I wonder what you could do to maybe look or hear someone making some points that they were. I wonder how you might... Maybe there's a video you could watch. You know, there's multiple videos to be fair, but maybe there's a particular video you could watch where you can at least, even if you end up disagreeing, hear someone making some points about it. I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? Who fucking knows, dude? Who knows? Thank you for the Prime sub. Anyway. So yeah, all these people have got is attack the person making the argument, attack the person making the point, you know, or act like it's no big deal. Oh, what's the problem? What's the problem with someone dressing like a woman? Oh, you triggered, Chud, that someone's dressing as a woman? Completely ignore the context. Completely ignore the 10 Muses shit. Completely ignore the absolute disgraceful behavior that was engaged in that situation. Just because you're trapped in your ideological prison and you don't want to escape. You don't want to escape your ideological prison that you're trapped in, so you're just going to keep coping and coping and coping. That's the adults in question. You've also got people that are engaging in this that are themselves children. They are themselves children, okay? And they are engaging in these communities and talking to these communities. And that to me is like horrifying, you know? That to me is like crazy. That you've got these people who are probably very confused, probably very uncertain, probably, you know, do have a shitty home life, etc. And they find community in these deranged online communities. And they get, in my perspective, probably railroaded into stuff, you know. Oh, ask me about DIY HRT, kids. Not that the person said that, to be clear. But you're really going to tell me that if someone came to this individual and, you know, they were underage, they would be like, and they found out they were underage, they'd be like, no, I can't help you. Not happening. You need to wait till you're 18. Come on, dude. Give me a break. We've seen it. We've seen it with our own eyes. We've seen, yeah, the egg culture stuff. There was messages where you had like a younger person going to like an older trans person for advice and stuff. Crazy. Anyway, there we go. So as we're reaching the top of the hour, that is me annoying the trans online again. My favorite hobby, to be honest. Okay. I'm very pink-pilled, guys. Lovely. Lovely stuff. Chud wants the liberty to do poppers and gobble on cock on the weekends, but he doesn't want others to have the liberty to pink pill adults. Very sad. Yeah, dude, I really reject this idea that I'm too obsessed with how freakish the online trans community is. I honestly don't think it's just about that. I've been there. I've been there and I've thought, you know, what's the classic line? Oh, yeah, these people are a bit fucking weird, but, you know, there's normal trans people out there, which is somewhat true, obviously. And this stuff doesn't really affect the real world anyway. And it's like, well, that's not really proven to be true, has it? Where's the glad thing? Where's the glad thing? Where's the glad? Remember the glad? Now, guys, call me crazy, but this looks like it isn't just on the internet, and that is actually a truck, and that truck is driving around in the real world, right? And what does this truck say? Every major medical association supports healthcare for trans youth. The science is settled. Wow. Almost ripped right out of the exact thing an online crazy trans person would say. Is it not? But apparently it's just an online issue. Don't worry about it. It's not affecting the real world. No, it is. All of this stuff is downstream. All the real world stuff is downstream of the crazy shit that you see, and you see it time and time and time again. And this is from a few years ago. But as the resident turf Ali was pointing out earlier, it does seem like the libs are moving away from this like super hardcore affirming pro-trans model and are actually being more skeptical, which is good. Yeah, one or a handful of studies come out, the science is settled. Right. Dude, it's so true, dude. And if you question it, you're transphobic. And if you're in our communities, we'll excise you for saying anything about it. Based. Absolutely based. Right. People are also coping about a social contagion. Why are there so many detransitioners? Yes, the detransition thing is a product of an endless affirming model. You know, obviously, no matter what you do, there will probably be detransitioners. But, you know, the way they get treated by the trans community is honestly disgraceful. You know, you got these people who have, in some cases, been like some of the ways you can get this stuff is like you literally have one appointment and they give it to you. I've read people talk about this. You know, it's not there's no sort of like due process of you know, assessing it. It's just, oh, here's some puberty. Like, it's like fucking chucking them out like Skittles. Puberty blockers like fucking Skittles. And this is a problem in the UK as well.